Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for The Originals, Season 2, Episode 3, Every Mother's Son. And this episode was just amazing. I loved it. And there are so many big things that happen in this episode. And this episode changes a lot. And one of the things I love about this episode was this episode focused on one main plot throughout the whole episode. There was Davina and Michael was not in the episode. Marcel was barely in the episode. Like, this episode pretty much was devoted to the Esther storyline and what's going to happen there. And it definitely is very interesting of what's going to happen there. And I really like where this episode, what this episode showed us is going to happen. And I'm really looking forward to the next episode, definitely because the way this episode ended, I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode, obviously. But let's just get into this episode because I overall really enjoyed it. And we found out a few big things in this episode, definitely, and I'm very happy we found out about. And so let's just get to it. All right. So basically, the episode starts where we see Esther. She's preparing for her son's company. And the feast looks very, delicious and everything. And Haley and Klaus are looking at a spread, all of their, which seems to be the meal that their mother was preparing. So, the main course of the meal is actually an invitation for the real dinner. So, that was definitely very interesting. So then we see a flashback, and I gotta say, flashbacks in this episode, amazing. Because, most of the flashbacks are usually, like, Klaus and Elijah, back in the day. This was actually them as little kids, and it was very well done. It wasn't something that I was expecting to see. I thought it was really cool to see that, and I definitely really enjoyed that. So we see young Klaus and his mother. They're having a chat about Klaus being afraid, and it's actually a very tender moment in Klaus's childhood. She tells him whenever he hears the birds singing to remember she's always with him, and it's actually a very sweet scene. You do see that Esther was a good mother, definitely. Now she's crazy, but back then she actually was a good mother, which I thought was interesting to see. So meanwhile, then we go back to the present. Haley and Klaus are pretty much plotting to kill Esther, but Elijah tells them that they shouldn't be so hasty as their mother could move her possession elsewhere. I do agree with that. They should be careful of what they decide to do. So Marcel and Elijah are now face to face again, and Elijah was assigned a disciple. So Elijah's looking for Davina for help. However, Marcel appoints the disciple to take him to see Lenore, and so the meeting begins. Now, of course, Marcel and Elijah, they're working together. And it was interesting to see Elijah, kind of ally with Klaus and Marcel. Definitely he's going to have to pick a side. So, Finn meets with Ollie at the bar and tells him that he is the person he's supposed to be meeting. And Oliver says that he was there to meet Cassie, but Finn tells him that when you speak to him, he is speaking to Cassie. And Oliver is trying to refuse Finn, and Finn flexes his witchcraft and tells Ollie he could make an example of him. However, he gives him the ring and tells him that the payment will begin today. So that was definitely very interesting. So, Haley and Klaus are together again. She's asking Klaus why his mother hates him so much. And basically, he tells her why. And, he tells her a story of losing... And I, myself, was like, why does she hate him so much? So, he tells her a story, of course, of losing a brother and why his mother turned he and his siblings to immortals. And Haley begins to worry about her baby. But Klaus gives her some claiming words to help her get her mind right before they figure out how to destroy Esther. Because that's basically their mission, is to destroy Esther once and for all. Because, the only reason that Esther is back is because she's possessing Cassie. That's the only reason that she's back at this point. So, I definitely thought that was very interesting. So, Elijah and Gia are continuing their quest to find Lenore, but she is beginning to be much for him. And he warns her, and they stumble upon Lenore, and Elijah asks her for a favor. And at first, Lenore is extremely skeptical, but Elijah makes her an offer to help her business. And Lenore tells him she needs what she needs for the spell, and he leaves. However, Finn makes his way into Lenore's shop soon after, and it looks like he'll be asking her for a favor. So, definitely you can tell, it's a very tense episode so far, and basically, Klaus then meets up with Marcel, and he asks him for the pin that he gave Marcel when he was 11. And the artifact is a bird pendant that Esther had given to him when he was little to provide him comfort. She gave him the necklace, and she tells him that she loves, and, we see another flashback, basically. She tells him she loves all her children, but she thinks that he is special. And it's another really good mother and son moment occurs that she teaches him to dance, and he thinks he had lost as a child. And it was actually Finn who saved the day by finding it. So that was definitely definitely a very well done scene, in my opinion. I definitely really appreciate that. Because you did see that definitely him and his mother had a very good relationship, and it's very sad that, it had to turn to shit, basically. It definitely is very sad. So Finn brought Lenore to Cassie Esther, but she says that Lenore seems hesitant. So Esther and Finn are finalizing their plans, and Vincent calls upon Ollie to repay him for the ring by torturing Lenore. So Haley takes the necklace so that she can take it to Lenore, and she gets a little more advice from Elijah, and I kind of felt like they were starting to maybe set up a Haley and Elijah again, but that's not really what's happening, because for a brief moment, Klaus actually seems to care about Elijah and Haley's relationship. But Elijah tells him it does not matter as long as Haley is stronger. Basically, he doesn't care if he's in a relationship with Haley as much anymore. Pretty much that's dead at this point. It's not really happening anymore, so I understand, why he said that. And, basically, he tells her how she's stronger now, and Gia then tells Marcel that she stole the python because Elijah didn't tell her how to do it. So Marcel asks if she even tried, and she asks why he stuck her with Elijah, and he says he wants something for him and her both, and he says he learned the hard way, and need an original looking out for you. And he says Klaus is too wrapped up in his drama, and says they need them to see the new vampire group as a family. So Gia asks how she can win Elijah over, and he says he's very cranky, fussy, but has a Achilles heel, and he says Elijah has to try and fix what's broken. He tells her to just be someone who needs his help. And Elijah and Klaus are then dressed nicely with a dinner table set for the dinner, and he tells Klaus it's a sign of respect and their best chance to find out what she's up to. They are so interested in finding out what their mother's into. That's what their main goal here is. And Finn shows up in his Vincent skin. He says Linian and Silk cannot disguise their self-loathing. And he says Klaus is the same paranoid little boy full of fear. Elijah walks over, asks for an introduction, and Finn asks offended that he didn't recognize his brother. But Klaus does and calls him Finn. And at that point, I'm like, okay, definitely shit's about to go down. This episode's about to get really intense. And, that was awesome when he said that. When he just said, hello, Finn, that was definitely really awesome. So, basically, Finn says that now the introductions are out of the way, they can eat. So then we see, basically, Haley finds Ollie and Lenore, and they need to make it look like he was jumped, causing Lenore to escape, and 3 of the, Michelson brothers sit down to eat together. But the question is, where's Cole? We don't see Cole for the whole episode, and I'm thinking the reason they didn't show Cole was because he's not actually a huge part of the storyline. Even though he is, the biggest part of the storyline is Klaus, and, basically, this episode we kind of saw it through Klaus and Elijah's eyes, because they don't know that Cole is, they don't know that Caleb is actually Cole. They don't know that yet. So I think that's why Cole was not in this episode, because they don't actually know that their brother is back. They don't realize that he is. So I'm definitely thinking that they're going to find out eventually, but for right now, at least, the reason they didn't show it was just because they don't know yet. So basically, Klaus also knows that Cole is the next Michelson brother coming. Klaus tries to throw a knife to Finn, but fails. And Haley is gaining the trust of Lenore, and she agrees to help them no matter what. And the boys are continuing to bicker over dinner, and Finn's nonstop verbal assault on his brothers does not faze them one bit. And Elijah tells Finn that he is like their father as he wearies of arguing. He asks where Esther is, and just as it was planned, she appears. So that was definitely awesome when that happened. I thought that was just a really awesome scene, and you can tell right away that definitely something huge is about to happen, and that was definitely very intense. So Haley's struggling to get Lenore everything she needs, and Lenore tells her that she needs to take her time with an important spell. And Lenore tells Haley that when Esther switches bodies again, she'll have a distinct marking on the back of her head. And Esther's trying to convince the other, Klaus and Elijah, that she has only been trying to protect them, which is not true. We actually don't know what her plan is at this point. So Esther recounts what she found when she found Klaus near dead after challenging his father. We saw another flashback of that, and she recounts him keeping that necklace no matter what, but the necklace was actually a sort of weakness. It was enchanted to keep him weak, and when Klaus learns this, he's completely enraged, tells his mother that she's everything he is, and just then she passes out as if jumping bodies, and she, literally, she's on the ground, she's just, dead, and I was just like, seriously? They're just gonna, I was actually, I was like, what's going on here? So Basically, Finn is so upset he attacks both his brothers, and just then the hourglass breaks and Lenore shows a very strange side, and Haley asks if she's okay. But then she notices the mark on the back of her hand, which basically shows, and I thought this was an awesome twist. I love this twist, and just, this is when the episode definitely got awesome. Esther is now in Lenore's body. Like, that was definitely awesome. I wasn't expecting that, and I was definitely really into that. I'm very happy that they did that. I thought that was a really awesome twist, and I personally love that. So Elijah and Klaus have awakened. They're in dire need to find out where their mother is. They need to find where she is. And basically, Klaus tells Elijah that their mother came up with the evening to torture them and vanished. And they then realize that Haley is actually a real target to be destroyed. That way, Esther will punish Klaus and Elijah. And Esther talks to Haley about what she's going... And this was just an awesome scene. Because, Lenore speaking, like, it's just really intense here. Esther offers her the ability to give up being a hybrid and jump to a new body. She wants her to jump to a new body, and she basically is just trying to get her to go on her side, and she offers her a new opportunity to move on, and just then, Klaus and Elijah walk in, and Esther says that she has come to heal their family, not harm them. She begins a strong spell and tells them to ask Haley of what she offers. And she shows her strength and tells them that one day they will beg for what she's offering, and everything seems to be over. And Klaus, Haley, and Elijah are trying to figure out everything. They're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here, because they just saw Cassie, dead, and now they have no idea what's going on. They're completely confused. And I was completely confused. I had no idea what was going on at this part. I'm like, what's going on here? I honestly had no idea what was going on at this point. This was really crazy. I gotta say, though, I applaud the writers, because I had no idea what was going on. So, basically, she begins a strong spell, tells them to ask Haley what she offers, and Haley looks to be thinking very hard on the tempting offer that Esther made her. She also shows how hurt she is that it takes her being in danger for Elijah to talk to her. So the brothers are now alone, and Elijah tells Klaus that he is the strongest of all the family, being able to stand up to both Michael and Esther. And honestly, I agree with that definitely, that, if he can stand up to them, he can pretty much stand up to anyone. I definitely agree with Elijah saying that. I think that definitely is a very good statement, and I would definitely agree with that. I would definitely say that is true. So Elijah heads to see his disciple Gia, and he asks her if she's playing, and she tells him that since she turned, she's unable to play. She's unable to play, basically, and I thought that was very interesting, that now that she basically can't play, and she tells him that since he tells her that she is different, and Elijah gives her a quick rundown of all that comes of being a vampire, and I thought the scene was very well done. He inspires her to play again. She becomes a little more emotional at this point, very emotional, and he tells her that she can learn the joy again, that he will help her, and when she asks why, he tells her that if someone had done so for him, things would definitely be different. So Marcel talks to Gia, and he figures out that Gia has fallen right into Marcel's plan. That is exactly Marcel's plan. And basically, it was all his plan. That's what was going on there. So Finn and Esther discuss what the purpose of the dinner was, and we finally find out what Esther's plan is. And this was awesome. I can't wait for the next episode. This was definitely an awesome way to end the episode. They discuss the purpose of what the dinner was, and she tells them that she was systematically destroying everything that they love, which basically, here's what I took from this. Esther is going to kill every single one of the people that are not original. She's going to kill every single one of the humans that are not originals, and not just the humans, but everyone they care about. So, say Haley, maybe even Cammy. We know that, I don't think she's after Cammy at this point, but Cammy, Davina, definitely those three people are in a lot of danger right now. Now, granted, Davina is against Klaus, but I do think Klaus would be genuinely upset if Davina died. I do think he'd be upset about that. You're gonna take out people say, the main person here that we're, concerned about is Haley. That's who I'm most concerned about at this point, because, of course, she's going after Haley. And she said that she will take their pride and joy, and when they are at their lowest point, they will have no choice but to beg her for mercy to release them from the pain, and she will because she loves them. And, her plan is just fucked up. It is the craziest plan. It is a very crazy, crazy plan. And I'm really looking forward to seeing if she's actually going to end up executing this plan, how this plan is going to work for her. And that's basically how the episode ends. And I gotta say, this episode was amazing. I loved it. By far the best episode of the season so far. I was so into this episode. And one of the things, again, I loved about the episode was showing, that these two, meaning Klaus and Esther really did have a genuine bond. I thought that was definitely a very well done thing, and I really like seeing that, definitely. So my question is, Haley is definitely in a lot of danger. Is she going to trust Lenore? Because I don't think she, I think that she doesn't realize that, she is not actually going to help her. She's actually going to end up killing her, and it's not going to end well for Haley at all. And I'm definitely very concerned about Haley. Haley definitely is the person to be most concerned about at this point. Definitely you should be most concerned about Haley. I'm most concerned about Haley. I'm sure a lot of you are most concerned about Haley. I wouldn't be surprised if you were. I mean, definitely I am very concerned about Haley at this point. Definitely I'm very concerned. The other thing I gotta say about this episode is the flashbacks were absolutely amazing this episode. I thought the flashbacks were just so well done. I love the flashbacks. I loved all the flashbacks that were going in this episode. They were very well done. The other thing is that's interesting is that we didn't see Cole in this episode because, of course, he's still on the lookout for the young witch, but, for Davina. And, that was definitely, the dinner scene was definitely the best scene in the episode. I loved the dinner scene. I thought it was an awesome scene. I loved it. I thought just the dinner scene was so intense. That they did it perfectly, definitely. The dinner scene was great. Lenore just going crazy. I did not expect for basically I did not expect for them to basically kill off Cassie and have Esther switch from different body to body. I did not know that she could do that, but I guess that she can. And now that we know she can do that, definitely she is probably going to be the hardest force that they've ever dealt with on this that they ever have had to deal with on this show, definitely. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what other kinds of trouble she caused. She's definitely going to start to, she's definitely going to try to stir up more trouble. And I'm looking forward to seeing what other kind of damage and trouble she's going to cause. It's going to be very interesting to see as well. My other thing I'm wondering is, who is Elijah really allying with here? That's really my question. Is he allying with Klaus, or is he allying with Marcel? Now, we know that Marcel is kind of using him at this point. Kind of this plan with Gia going on. And Gia knows that, now Elijah knows, and she kind of, I don't know, I think Gia does trust him, but, she's working for Elijah, so she's working for Marcel. So I'm wondering definitely what's going to happen there with Marcel and Elijah. We'll have to see. I do like the character of Gia, though. I think she definitely is a very good character. Now, my other question is can Finn do the same thing that Esther can? Can Finn go into different bodies? Because I think that definitely is going to happen. Also, Cole can go into different bodies. I don't think that's going to happen, though, because Daniel Sharman is a main character, I believe, this season. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he is. Nothing with Davina and Michael in this episode. It does look like in the next episode that's actually going to be the main focus. And that's one of the things I definitely really liked about this episode, was the main focus was Esther and, trying to figure out what Esther's doing and getting the information they need out of her. And I thought because of that, this episode was definitely very well done. I really enjoyed it because of that. And that's basically my review. I'm sorry this was a short review, guys, but the recap I usually use is not up yet. So that's why this review is a little bit shorter. And I'm sorry about that, but that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next review, which will be for my review of tonight's episode of Gotham. So, which I have not reviewed yet. Again, let me know what you guys saw this episode, and I'll see you guys then. Okay, bye.